What's up, creeps? I'm Exorcist.
And I'm Boo.
And we are Scurred. Or are we? A little more this time than last time.
For sure.
Okay, so we're back for the third installment of...
The Blackwell Ghost.
Right. So the interesting thing about the first two were it very much was centered around the house where the Blackwell ghost, a.k.a. Miss Blackwell, lived. The interesting thing about the next three in the series is they quite literally have nothing to do with the Blackwell ghost, at least to our knowledge. I mean, maybe there's some kind of weird number 6 connection, but nothing that we've seen. So overall plot, let's talk about it. Give us some background on where we go from here.
Alright, so in the first 3 movies, he was, in the Blackwell house, obviously. But starting in the third movie, he's actually down in Florida in a completely different house. Now, this house was owned by a serial killer.
Yeah, Lightfoot was his name, and I remember that because there's this old rocker guy that you'll never remember named Gordon Lightfoot. So this is Lightfoot's house from many years ago. Was it 17 or 18 women that he was accused of murdering? They hadn't found a bunch of them. There's a big story behind it.
Right.
And yada, yada, yada.
Alleged there had been 18. But
right.
We found out later that was not true.
Correct. Which you'll see in 4 or 5. One of the two. So there's some discrepancies. But that's okay. That's natural in this kind of documentary, this environment. So Lightfoot. Yeah, Lightfoot. This place is weird. It's well off the beaten path. The setting itself is actually creepy. And I don't know if you've ever been to Florida, but if you have, sorry people in Florida, it's a little creepy. So this is like backwoods, swampland, riverfront.
4 miles away from any type of civilization.
Right. So there's nothing. And it's dark. That's one of the things that once it hits nighttime, it's dark out there. The house itself is actually really small. So he's able to get a lot of different angles, but the one angle that will make you the most terrified in this house, let's just say it, is that damn hallway.
It's definitely the hallway. I am not a fan of that hallway at all.
No, in 3 it becomes pretty apparent you don't like the hallway. By 5, you hate the hallway. I don't quite have nightmares about the hallway, but
if I did, that's what it would be.
Yeah, very clearly. So he decides to go in and do this. Before he jumps into there, what he's able to do is actually interview the serial killer's son. And the son has some weird childhood memories. Do you remember any of those?
I do. Should I say?
You could probably share one.
He says that one of the things he remembers the most is being a child and opening his closet to find a body wrapped in plastic.
Yeah. And it doesn't matter what age you are. When you find the body in a closet wrapped in plastic, things are different in your world. So he's not a big fan of his dad. He was he knew what was going on when he was a kid, but he didn't really understand it until years later, and it was pretty upsetting. So with all the trauma and all the horrible things that happen in this house, there's certainly some room for paranormal kind of things to happen.
Absolutely.
It's one of those situations where you can expect it. So that's an idea. He sets up the cameras, some things happen, and we're kind of back on this Blackwell ghost path where it starts a little bit slow and then arcs pretty fast. And number 3, in my opinion, arcs way faster and is way scarier than 1 or 2.
Right, absolutely. I think that the third one was definitely a lot scarier. The arc was way more intense and much faster to arrive. We definitely saw a lot more in this one than we did the first 2.
Yeah, and it's weird because it's a lot of the stuff in the house is repetitious. For example, the phone will ring and it's largely at the same time every single night. And you would think, like, okay, well, I watched the phone ring for 45 minutes. That's not scaring me anymore. But every time that phone rings, it's like it sucks the air out of your chest, and it's just horrible.
It's absolutely just... I think by the fifth one, we were hearing some very intense stuff.
Yeah, and that's it. The phone calls even escalated through the series.
Right.
So it's pretty good. Jump scares. Number 3 had some jump scares. Did you have any ones that were the best or were your favorite?
Oh my gosh. My favorite one, I'm sure we'll show it. The door slams, the table flips, stuff is going on, lights go out, door slams, table flips, all at the same time, and he has to leave because he is so terrified that this has happened.
Yeah, he calls those, very well put, I don't know if it's the third one or the fourth one, hotel nights, and his hotel is his truck. And I don't blame him.
Absolutely not.
It was pretty fast, it was pretty violent, and it's interesting because he always mentions that he doesn't feel threatened while he's there, like whatever is there isn't trying to harm him.
Right, it's trying to tell him something.
But it's enough to scare the hell out of anybody.
Absolutely.
So that's pretty much it. Now, ending and overall approval. Let's talk about this. The ending, I think, was set up for Blackwell Ghost number 4 perfectly.
Yeah, absolutely. But I also feel like even if they wouldn't have gone on with the fourth one, I would have been content with it. I'm definitely glad that they did go in for more research, wanted to dig deeper, but I was perfectly content with... I could have stopped at the third one, and had there not been a fourth one, I wouldn't have minded at all how it ended. So I think it's great that it can either end right there or continue on.
Yeah, and I'm glad that they did, to be continued and carry on, because I enjoyed the fourth one as well as the fifth one. Were you scared? And give me the number, 1 to 10, you know how it goes. Was it up there? Was it down there? What do you think?
I definitely think it was much, much higher on the Scurred scale than the first two. There were points where I was like, I'm not even sure that I can go back to my own room because I'm kind of scared. So I would easily say it got like a 4 to 5, actually, at certain points.
Okay. Yeah, and I'm right there with you, actually. I would give it a pretty solid 5. I don't know if I would go as far as a 6 because we're getting into some pretty scary territory at 6. But a good, strong 4.5 to 5 for me. And just well written. It was good content. It kept my attention the whole time. Bathroom breaks were like, okay, we got to pause. Nobody can get up and get popcorn right now without stopping it. So I'm with you. I think we can call this one solid 4.5 to 5. Would you recommend the third installment of The Blackwell Ghost?
Oh, absolutely. Recommend this movie. It was probably, decidedly, that night, my favorite movie that's ever been made.
Okay. I'm not, that's extreme for me. I'm not quite there. But it was pretty good. And I'll tell you, even if you skipped the first two and you jumped right into The Blackwell Ghost 3, there's such a dynamically different story that you wouldn't really have to see the first two to know what the hell was going on in this one.
Right.
It can be pretty well standalone. Now, if you were to jump into number 4, you'd be missing quite a bit if you hadn't seen 3. So watch 1 and 2 as one installment, and 3 through 5, probably soon to be 6, in one chunk as well. But watch it. I think it's worth a watch. Just like all of our stuff, you can go to Scurred.com, and we'll have a link to the Blackwell Ghost movie that's available on Amazon to rent or buy. And we'd appreciate you doing that. Every time you do that, throws a little jingle in our pockets, and we're able to keep producing videos and reviewing this and bringing you guys good scary content. And I'm sure Amazon likes it too, as well as Blackwell Ghost writers and producers. So hop on there, check it out, use Scurred.com. We'll drop the link below, and make sure you subscribe to our videos, like our pages, send us fan mail. Don't call us at 2:47 in the morning. We don't want to hear it. But do interact. We always appreciate you. So with that said, I'm Exorcist.
And I'm Boo.
And we are Scurred. Until next time.
Sleep tight.